I went through a period where I would talk to 10 or 20 new people per day successfully, and I would do that for months at a time. These are some of the biggest lessons that I've learned, and I'm just going to let you know now, this is completely unscripted. This is no dopamine nonsense. This is my unfiltered channel for guys who still want to follow me, still want advice from me, but don't really are trying to absorb more than just calisthenics content. If you're interested in like calisthenics stuff, go to my main channel. Also have like paid programs and subscription, like I'm an entrepreneur, all that kind of stuff. Like I'm making money online essentially. If you're interested in any of that, you can go there. There's a couple main things that I have found that really boost your level of socialization. And some of the key things is actually a little bit more shallow and a little bit dark than you might think. And just to give some context, I'm not like the most attractive human on the planet. And I actually want to preface this. I am 5'4". I'm like weirdly hairy. Like I have armpit hair, all that type of stuff. I dress like usually in sweatpants and like a t-shirt. Sometimes I wear like a tank top where my shoulders pop out and all that kind of stuff. Like I'm like in pretty decent shape. Like literally today, which is what made me think of this video. Literally today, I swear to God, I had like 2 or 3 like groups of like big black guys and tell me how jacked I was, and they asked me to like be on the football team with them, and I was like, no, I do calisthenics planche, and they're like, what's a plank? And I'm like, so yeah, I just want to preface that. Like, I don't think I'm ugly looking by any means. Like, I'm like kind of jacked. I have a good jawline, and also like my hair is like a little bit nice. So I'm not saying like I'm ugly. Being attractive obviously helps, but there's going to be like more in-depth tips and just like look better and get into shape, because everybody knows that boosts you anyway. The halo effect, for those who don't know what it is, the halo effect is essentially like the more attractive you are objectively, the more people like you, even if the value that you bring to them is roughly the same. So what that would mean is you have Betty, who's like a little bit overweight, a little bit chunky. She's like a really hard worker. She tries. You have a group project. She has a really hard worker. She tries, like she gets decent grades, like A's, B's, all that type of stuff. Then you have Patricia. Patricia's hot. Patricia is like 10 out of 10. She's not as smart. She's a little bit less of a hard worker. You know, you're probably going to have to pick up some slack. Most guys, I would say 90 to 95% of guys would go with that girl because of what's called the halo effect. It's a perceived value of having an attractive person within your sphere. Because monkey brain, we want to reproduce with the most attractive like person possible, because that kind of shows us like they have good genes. Now, obviously in the modern day, that's a little bit shallow, so that's not quite like what you should go for, but that's kind of essentially just how it works, like within the context of like the monkey caveman brain, all that type of stuff. I'm thirsty. I'm going to go get water. Here, I can keep talking actually because I have the mic on my ear. So tip number 1. What I found after talking to literally hundreds of new people, having tons of friends, literally every morning I like say hi to at least 10 people individually, guys and girls, every single morning. Like before school starts, during my classes, like literally first period of day, first like 30 to 60 minutes of the day, there's 15 to 45 minutes, whatever you want to call it. The number one thing that makes you memorable is, it's going to sound a little bit weird and a little bit gay, but touching. If you can manage to touch someone without it being creepy and being weird, that is probably the like best thing you can do for like one-on-one relational contact you can make with them. So don't touch them like if if you're like hanging out with a girl and you like just met her, and like you can offer a fist bump, you can offer like I don't dap up girls just because that's weird, like where you do this thing, that's weird. That makes me feel like you're one of my homies. I don't want to feel that with a girl. I treat guys and girls very differently than how I treat each other. That's weird. Like give them a fist bump, like a pat on the back, pat on the shoulder, like whatever. Something that you can do is for like a girl, for example, you can talk to them, be like, oh, hey, what was your name, by the way? They'll like tell you their name. Let's say one girl I was talking to recently, her name was, who do I want to use? Isabella, like I was walking out from the stair, I was with my friend, I was talking, I like kind of ran into her, like we were weirdly like kind of close because like people were dismissing, like school had let out. And I was just walking, and when we were walking, I saw her, and I was like, oh, you're in my gym class, right? Obviously, I know she's in my gym class. I use that sentence to start the conversation, kind of like an icebreaker. So there, you can ask questions that you really clearly know the answer to, but it's just to get the conversation rolling. Because if I was to just like go up to her and be like, yo, what's good, Isabella? What's up? it's a little bit off-putting because they don't really know you that well if you're just meeting them. So think about this. Like, you see me in real life. You obviously know who I am at this point just because you're watching this. You see me in real life. If you come up to me and I'm like, "Oh, what's good, Terry?" and I like fist bump you, you're a little bit weirded out. You're like, "How does this guy know me? What's happening? Like, what is this? Whatever." Now, it's a little bit different. Like, the situation's a little bit different. Just for the sake of the example, let's go. Like, me and you were DMing on Discord, or like my free school community on the main channel, my paid program. First links I can link the description, stuff like that. If like I had known you, but I've never met you in real life, and I went up to you and I was like, "Yo, Terry, what's good, bro?" And like I try to touch you and I try to fist bump you and all that type of stuff, that might be a little bit weird for a split second. Obviously, you're gonna like, if you know me, you're gonna be like, "Oh yeah, what's good?" I didn't recognize you for a second, like, "Oh, and then you make a joke about it. But in that split second, it's gonna be weird. When it comes to especially women, you don't want there to be many like weird, awkward instances. You want to try and trigger like multiple emotions. So you want it to be like, if you ever look at those color wheels where it's like you spin it around and it goes from like red to blue to yellow to orange to purple, or like whatever the colors are. If you go around the wheel, you want to be like that. You want to hit everything, a little bit of annoyance, a little bit of laughter, a little bit of joy, a little bit of like an anger, even a little bit of sadness, a little bit of like a compliment, a little bit of like an anxious, like weird, like not like a weird attachment thing. I'm not like red pill to where I'm like make them crave you, but like you kind of know what I mean. You kind of like leave them on the edge a little bit, whatever you want to call it. If you can do that, then you're going to have a much better result. But you don't want it to be awkward or weird, especially for like your first couple of encounters with someone, because they're going to look at you as like the awkward and weird guy. They're going to remember you as the guy who made them feel like awkward and weird. So you go up to them, starting a conversation with like an icebreaker, being like, "Oh, hey, are you in my gym class? Oh, well, are you Aiden's friend? I think I've seen you before." When you know you've seen them before, when you know even you might have had a conversation before, you know that you've played like a game with them or like in a group project or whatever, but you don't like know them, going up to them and being like, "Oh, what was your name again? Like, I completely forgot. Sorry, I'm going names. What was it?" Just that quick icebreaker. Like, they'll still be a little bit confused, but them giving you like a little bit of information is kind of like them letting you in like a small bit. So them just saying their name, everybody knows their name. That's not like a huge thing to give. The information isn't the prize. The fact that they're giving it to you is the prize, because if they give you that little bit of let in, then they're more likely to let you like warm up even further. So kind of, I'm going to like explain this as if I was to have a coaching client, right? I don't just message random people and be like, "Hey, buy my coaching." If I was a bigger YouTuber, if like I was more credible like on an online space, and maybe I could. But what I would have to do is, now at the level that I'm at, I make a YouTube video. I make Instagram posts. I make Instagram reels. I have like posts and all that type of stuff. Let's just keep it simple and say I make a YouTube video. I make a YouTube video. I'm sat on my bed with my shirt off talking about socializing. That gives you a little bit of trust. If you try my advice and it works and you go, "Okay, this guy obviously knows what it is that he's talking about." Dope. Next thing, I might have a free community, or I might have like a free PDF or a lead magnet. A lead magnet is essentially like a free product that I would give you just for like being a part of the video with me. What would be after that is maybe like a low ticket community. So like $9 to $49 a month, $99 a month, $97 a month, something like that, to get you even further into the door. Once you're in that community, you're already giving me money. You're already like trying to like get closer into my inner circle. Then what I can do is, then is when I offer you the coaching, and that's when you have the highest chance of letting me offer it to you and actually paying me. So I could do this where I'm like, link in the description, coaching link. If you're interested in being coached, it's this much. It's $600 a month, like whatever. Link in the description, all that type of stuff. Buy it, whatever. There will be somebody at some point who would purchase that, but it would be a lot more niche. It would be a lot less than if I went through the whole warmth process. When you're trying to get closer to someone, this small initial contact, just them like feeling your frame a little bit, especially if you're like a more muscular guy. I have like decently like big and girthy hands. Like, I've trained arm wrestling a ton, so like my hands are kind of beefy. Obviously, I'm like decently muscular. Like I've been doing calisthenics for a while. I wrestled for a long time. I'm like fairly physical when it comes to these things. They feel just that little bit of contact that makes them like you more. especially if you're not doing it in an annoying way, if you're doing it like in an appropriate context. So that little fist bump, that little bit of a touch, that little like dap up to the guy you kind of know but not really, literally just going up to a dude and being like, "Yo, what's good, dog? How you been?" Like most guys will just like say hi to you, even if they don't really know you. I think maybe like with men and women, the split is different. I would say probably like 90 95 to 98 out of 100 guys, if you go up to them and you're like kind of cool and like you kind of look at them from a distance and you're not like a creep about it, if you go up to them and you're like, "Yo, what's good, bro? How you been?" And like you dap them up or whatever, like you go to fist bump them or like say something to them or have a conversation with them, whatever, I swear to God, like I can't swear to God to that because it's not like a statistic, but I promise you, I give you like my word personally, 95 to 98% of them out of 100 will like be responsive as long as you're not weird about it. So don't like overly do the conversation. Just say hi, keep walking, keep going, whatever you were doing. Obviously, have like stuff to do, have places to be. Don't just be like needy, like craving attention from them. With girls, it's closer to honestly like it depends on your level of attractiveness and it depends on how good you are at being charismatic. If you kind of suck at both of those things, they'll probably like look at you a little bit funny. They'll kind of ignore you. Like maybe they will, but like they'll kind of like you'll tell they don't really want to talk to you. If you're like decently attractive, I would say my success rate, like personally, is like still 80 to 90%. So it's a little bit less, but you need more skill for it to be a little bit less. Guys, it doesn't really matter that much. You can be like the coolest dude, you can be like the dumbest dude, you can be like kind of icky, gross, whatever, and you can still like the level of respect is different, but the result of like getting the fist bump, saying hi, like getting the experience of like talking to the person is relatively the same. With girls, it's a little bit different. You have to like show off more, like kind of the peacock effect, where like peacocks have the colored tails, kind of like the peacock effect of like you have to kind of show yourself a little bit more. So like for me, I know for a fact if I were to wear a tank top and I were to go up and try and bump like fist bump 15 different girls, I know that tank top versus long sleeve shirt or like a baggy jacket, for example, because I'm short and I'm not the prettiest and like I kind of have like acne on my face or whatever. I know for a fact me in the tank top versus me in the jacket, the tank top will actually do better because it shows more. And the thing is, people can say that's shallow, and I completely agree, but that's 100% how it works. And that's a sad part. And if you want to be liked and respected for long-term friendships, it's who you are and how you connect with people. If you just want a surplus of volume of options, you need to be more presentable. So tying this to business, because I love talking about business on this channel, tying this to business, for example, if I were to post videos where I show my results, I am like, let's say I'm a world record holder in everything, like planche world record, front lever world record, muscle up world record, best muscle ups of all time. I was like decent at marketing. I knew how to do like call to actions and I knew how to script like short form videos and long form videos and all that type of stuff. I would get ridiculously famous. But if my advice was crap, if I was telling you like leave 20 reps in reserve and don't train at all, you should only train once every 3 weeks and to make your best results, very quickly people would stop caring. Very quickly people would just go, yeah, genetic freak, like whatever, and then they would move on. You have to have both. And your character, I don't know who you are, I don't know anything about you, but your character is just how it is. Being authentic, being who you actually want to be, doing things with your life, progressing, making progress, having goals, all that type of stuff, obviously is very important. I would say the journey is more impressive than the goal. I honestly don't really have many goals for things, and I've achieved awesome results. I've been a national level volleyball player, varsity wrestler. I've been one of the highest academic programs in my country. I'm low level, kind of new entrepreneurial, but I've made some money online. I make these videos, I record, I do all this stuff, and I've never really had a goal with it. I've just kind of said like, yeah, it'd be cool if I could upload 7 times a week. Like that's kind of the extent of what I go for. And having a goal with it, just saying to yourself, like autistically, I want to be able to fist bump 10 people a day. That's awesome. That's how you're going to make crazy progress. So just that initial touch, this is step number one. It's like tip number one. I don't know how many I'm going to give. I'm just going to keep talking till like I get tired because it's kind of like right before my bedtime. Just the touch is super important. It's like getting your foot further into the door because especially if you're not very charismatic, especially if you're not very funny, especially if you're not very good looking, just getting that little extra notch is huge. That's probably the number one thing that I could give you. Second thing, being funny. Now, this is obviously like, well, no, that how do you actually be funny? I'm going to give some things to you. Literally just say, when you think of a joke, just say the sentence that it is that you want to say. It is that simple. Over time, what's going to happen is you're like internal GPT. So if you've done like meditation for a decent amount of time, or like you've done prayers or any of this stuff, or like you've had to be very present, like within your own mind, if you've ever done any of that, you've kind of realized that you don't actually generate your own thoughts. You're kind of like the author of them. What will happen is your brain will just like pop up with a random thought, and it's your job to determine, is this a good thought? Is this a bad thought? Should I carry out with this action? Should I pull back? Should I like try and modify it in some way? Whatever. You don't actually like generate your own thoughts. The funniest people aren't thinking from like 30 seconds from the joke. Like sometimes I do, and sometimes funny people do, but like they set it up in a very specific way. So like, for example, if I have a friend with autism, I would, and I want to make like an autism joke because I thought of a funny one in my head, but it kind of wouldn't be appropriate for the instance. I would like comment about drooling. And then I would comment about like, oh, hey, you have drool coming off your face. Like, whatever. That's a stupid example. That joke isn't funny, but you kind of get what I mean. And then I would bring up, oh, you're retarded. Like that type of thing. You can obviously set things up, but the vast majority of people who are actually funny don't even like consciously like generate the jokes. They just come out. This is something that I've had to learn. And just simply saying what it is that you want to say. Obviously, like, don't be offensive and don't be racist. And those jokes can fly, but with like specific people, I'll be the first to say I'm a white guy. With my black friends, we joke. Like I'm Japanese as well, so like I have a little bit of like Asian DNA or whatever. They'll make fun of like me getting bombed in like Nagasaki or Hiroshima or whatever. I'll say they were enslaved for like 200 years. Like it's all good time. I'm getting canceled if this ever gets big. But that's how you joke with friends. And you don't really generate the jokes. You are the author of them. So just saying what it is that you want to say, if you come up with something funny, if you come up with something stupid, whatever, the people around you will let you know. Believe me, if you say something to where people are belly laughing and like it hurts and they can't stop and like tears are coming out of that one girl's face, like happens to me a lot in like my sixth period, like me, my guy friend, and another female that like sit in my general area, we have like beautiful chemistry when it comes to like talking to each other, making jokes. I swear, when I'm in that period, I never ever laugh harder. Like the chemistry is just beautiful, and we're not even like very similar people. We don't really talk to each other outside that period, but it's just the chemistry is just there when it comes to like the comedic side. We're not sitting there writing down jokes on our hands before the class. Like I'm gonna say fart. Like that's stupid. No, we say it on the fly because the chemistry is just there. That's why you need a volume of people. That's why you need to be doing the fist bumping. That's why you need to be doing the 10 interactions per day. That's why you need the 15, 20, 30 interactions per day. Because what's going to happen is you're going to build a volume, and then you're going to have options, and not even options in the sense of like, I'm only going to be friends with this person, but options in the sense of if there's somebody that you know your chemistry will mix well with, you can get into the circle to where you talk to them. The more people you know, you see a cute girl. I've never ever in my life like cold approach. I've never in my life went up to a chick and been like, "Hey yo, can I get your number?" Like when I've never met her before. I always met her through someone. And that's a lot more overpowered than like a cold approach, for example, because short guy like me, I need to warm them up more. If they know that I know their best friend Amy, then yeah, they're going to trust me more. They're going to want to interact with me more. They're going to be more, not susceptible, but more engaged in like speaking with me. That obviously makes sense to you. So warming yourself up and doing like all of the habits I talked about before, where like you get the physical touch, you interact with a bunch of people, volume, 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 practice, 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 and then just acting how it is you want to act, and then modifying yourself to fit. Okay, what worked, what didn't? Trying to just improve, not modifying yourself to fit like the group that you're in, whatever, but modifying yourself to improve in how you want to be, the type of jokes you want to make. Because the thing is, the people who aren't funny are people who make jokes that everybody else makes. Like, have you ever heard what's something like obnoxious kids say all the time? You remember like the old Rick Astley memes, and people would send like Rick rolls to each other. If that's the only joke you make, it might be funny like in this day and age because it's like niche and people kind of remember it and nobody really does it anymore. But if that's your only thing and you do like random like TikTok jokes or whatever that are like dead trends and like whatever, you're only doing trends, people just look at you as like a walking TikTok account. if you can make jokes on the fly that nobody's ever heard before, and that's creative, and this takes practice, and obviously it comes with your internal GPT coming up with it. But if you're able to do that, if you're able to be funny and charismatic and you're able to articulate your thoughts in like a story kind of way, reading books on communication, watching videos like this, all this type of stuff, practicing and just speaking to people is so important for actually unlocking your like ability in that way. And I kind of said that stupid, and I'm talking about like effective communication, but unlocking the ability to engage with people and be funny and be hilarious and make them have like that hard belly laugh, like kind of like crying type of feeling.